Good morning. Morning Musings by Melinda. Aren't you all so kind about me taking a little bit of my own time yesterday morning? I so appreciate it. And I was going to talk to you about how flowers represent things that are within our soul. And I thought maybe I would make it just a little bit deeper than that rather than giving you a frivolous musing. Now just remember that there is a big difference between a newscaster and a commentator. A commentator gives their opinion. That's not news. And a newscaster gives the news. And I'm not a newscaster spirituality-wise. I'm a commentator. I just give my opinions about certain things and my understanding and balance of it after being a medium for 30 years and working with people's energy field and understanding how the other side works and moving into a place of trying to balance my own karmic profile and helping others balance theirs. So let's make sure that we're in understanding of the difference, because I think there is a lot of misunderstandings about the difference between a newscaster and a commentator, and that we are taking people who are commentators as part of the news, and that's not what the news is at all. The news is the news. So with that being said, I wanted to talk to you about what kind of flower you are. And I was really thinking and meditating about it because I thought, aren't human beings like flowers? And I was thinking maybe that some of us have to get back to the original teachings of Christianity and understand the flowers that were the original well, I can't talk today, can I? That were the original disciples, and look at it that way. But just because I started with understanding flowers, let's take a look. What's your favorite flower? Is your favorite flower a rose? You know, I think my favorite flower is a rose because it also has some thorns, and I believe that part of my beauty is having some thorns. Actually, I roared into my hairstylist yesterday, who is actually one of my best friends, and started bitching up a storm the minute I sat down. And her coworker said, "Melinda, I watch your musings every day." And I said, "Well, don't rat me out," because I sat down and started bitching up a storm. And that's because Becky's my best friend and I feel safe. And I had some things to just roll off of my vibration. And she took it with good nature and knows that I don't mean anything by it. And that's really what we have to really evaluate as we understand ourselves, both our shadow and our light. So I'm pretty sure I'm a rose. But roses always mean that you think with your heart, and they're classic and timeless and never go out of style, and that you know how to make a statement and make it seem effortless, which I'm not really doing very well this morning. I think I haven't talked for a bit yesterday, so I'm on my words. Tulips. I know a lot of people love tulips, but what do they say about you? That you're thoughtful and confident, and that your personal style changes a lot based on your mood, but somehow it's always sleek and coordinated. Daisies, which are also another one of my favorite flowers, say that you're an optimist, no surprise there, and that you can find the good in any bad situation, which I wish we were doing right now, instead of finding the bad and fear-mongering and criticizing each other and putting it out there that this is all some kind of sinister plot. But anyway, lilacs are about living for things that are nostalgic and like going through old photos and you know, digging through antique shops, and they're all about infusing your style with vintage energy, which is interesting. My mother's favorite flower was lilacs. Daffodils, what they say about you is that you put your family and friends first and you love to host. Sunflowers are about making new friends and that you thrive around people by making new friends and that you're bright and warm. Orchids are sophisticated and mysterious, and that you're never the loudest, glamorous person in the room, but the most subtle one. And carnations are, well, let's see, I'm missing lilies here, say that you are happy and impassioned and a hard worker. And carnations are about being down to earth. And poppies are about being fun, quirky, and creative. So what is your favorite flower, and what does that mean about your personality profile, your spiritual essence, how you're working through discovering your spirit? So I think that human beings are like flowers, though, and I think that situations are like flowers, and that the beauty of nature that's manifested in all of its glory around us is the beauty of what God feels about who we are inside, and the multiple different foliage and trees and flowers of nature represent the human condition too, and not just the nature, but human nature, and that we all have to enjoy the beauty of each other and who we are, even here in the desert in Arizona, which some people take a look at and think is stark, but it's really not. When you look at it, it has real beauty. And when that flower, sprouts on a cactus, there's nothing more beautiful. And I think as human beings, we've forgotten to enjoy human nature the way that we enjoy nature. So I really wanted to get into a deeper aspect of what the flowers mean. And I also thought about Jesus. I thought about what Jesus looked for in his disciples. And I thought about, why he would choose certain disciples and if he was choosing men to be perfect. Because there is a lot of talk about, if somebody has had some checkered stuff in their past that we don't deserve to honor them if they have passed in a way that makes us change our minds about things. And I think you know what I'm alluding to. So I thought about that and I thought, well, Peter was impulsive and impetuous, and he embodied every bit of man's strength and weaknesses all throughout the Bible. You can see that. Andrew actually served John the Baptist first. He was one of the two disciples there. James and John, Peter called the sons of thunder because they had stormy personalities and they were easily angered, and they went into judgment quite easily. Philip was slow to recognize Jesus. Bartholomew actually honored Jesus from the minute he made a connection with him. Thomas is about being the doubting Thomas, where he was unable to see the big pictures. He couldn't see the forest through the trees. He was gloomy and easily depressed. Matthew was a tax collector, so he was considered filth amongst the people at the time, and he was very self-absorbed when Jesus came along to him. And Simon was a Canaanite, and that's a position it's a political position, and that's why he's labeled that way. So he was a politician. So, and of course we know about Judas, and there are others. So it's interesting how, we look at people and human beings in today's world without going back to the source and redirecting our energy on what we were taught here about honoring all human beings, no matter who they are and if they have a checkered past, and giving everybody that opportunity to redeem themselves and be part of the beautiful garden of what God made for us as human beings. So I wanted to give it deeper meaning somehow today, and I don't know if my analogies are just crap or whether you get what I'm saying, but I get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm saying. And so honor all the flowers in your human garden and not just the flowers in your garden. And you all have a great day.